You have probably tried a lot of those fancy diets out there that promise you to lose 20 to 30 pounds in like 2 weeks, and you were all excited about it just to be really disappointed later on because their diet didn't actually work and they were fooling you. You were maybe even spending money on a diet plan. And in this video I want to share with you the most boring but most effective steps how you can actually lose weight. And I made it my mission to make weight loss and fitness a lot more transparent and beginner friendly again. So if you're also feeling stuck and this kind of content is exactly what you need, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, you could help the video out to reach a lot more people just like you and me who want honest fitness advice by giving it a thumbs up. So the very first secret is you need to exchange all of your food for basically fake food. You need to now eat highly processed fake meat to be able to lose weight, because real food is your enemy. No, I'm just kidding. If it wasn't obvious, I'm being sarcastic here. That was basically what I was fooled into, and I kind of gained a lot more weight than I actually was losing weight. So in the long run, what that taught me is that any kind of diet that tries to sell you a certain food that you should eat that is not a real food is very bad for you, and the only thing that always will matter is basically being in a caloric deficit. This is the one and only most boring thing that you need to always keep in mind when you want to lose weight. Just look at your calories. It is not that hard. You need to just type it down, weigh all of your food, put it in an app where you can calculate calories, and as soon as you hit the actual calorie target that is lower than the amount of calories you are actually burning, you are going to lose weight. That's why I'm saying this is the most boring thing. You don't need a fancy diet. You don't need these crazy 5-star meals that they put together sometimes. You don't need to do anything crazy really. You can just follow your macronutrients or your caloric intake in this case. And as soon as you are hitting the calorie target that is, let's say, 200 or 300 calories lower than what you need, you're automatically going to lose weight. I used to think that you need these crazy fat burners and whatnot they are going to sell to you these days. There's like powders where you exchange food. There's tiny mini pills that actually promise you to boost your metabolism. All of this nonsense. But fact is, the most effective but most boring way will be to just be in a caloric deficit. There is no shortcuts. It is going to take a lot of time. So you can cut out all of this excitement about crazy diets that promise you to lose 20, 30 pounds in, let's say, 2 weeks. All of this excitement that they are trying to build up is just to sell you some weird diet, and they are trying to fool you into all of these nonsense diets when the only thing that really matters is to be in a caloric deficit more time throughout the entire year than you are actually in a caloric surplus. See your diet as a whole and not basically from day to day basis. You are not going to magically gain weight just because you have one day where you're eating a little bit more food. It is not working like that. A diet is something that you should zoom out a little bit of. And when you zoom out and you see the entire week of your progress, then it looks a lot different, and it looks kind of boring when you are going into the past and you check your data and stuff. But that is exactly the point of today's video. It does not need to be exciting all the time. Those fancy, crazy, exciting diets, they are not actually going to help you. So basically step back a little bit from all of this excitement and dopamine hits from diets. Just do yourself the favor and zoom out a little bit and make it as boring as possible. And I hope that you understand that in the moment I'm saying that this is kind of the boring way to do it, that I'm still very excited about weight loss. I just think that people need to stop overcomplicating stuff and overhyping these kind of diets. In my opinion, it needs to be simple enough for beginners to actually follow through and to not quit because something's not working and it's been overpromised. And in the moment you are not having these crazy promises, some people may consider it boring, because ultimately if you stick to just having a caloric deficit and it does not really matter anymore what you eat, you still need to eat food that is actually going to satisfy you. For example, you can eat a lot more protein-based foods and like food that fills you up or saturate you a lot more. For example, I'm always eating turkey or any sort of lean meat. That ones have a lot of protein but tinier calorie amount. And then I'm just adding some calories on top in egg, because egg are super highly nutritious and they keep me full personally for a lot longer. And then I'm just filling up the rest of my calories in a day when I hit a certain protein target with whatever I like to eat. For example, a little bit of bread if I'm not on the keto diet at the moment, or maybe I'm eating a little bit of rice. And I hope you're getting my point here. Sometimes it can be really boring to maybe eat the same food for 5 days straight and just meal prep everything at the beginning of the week. but it is highly effective because you don't need to guess anymore. You basically eat the same thing every single day, and then another day you're switching up one ingredient. Let's get going with the second most boring thing about weight loss: cardio training. Everybody tells you that you need to do the crazy thing. You need to go hiking, swimming, play basketball, football, soccer, all of these crazy things where you are going to be burned out after one session, and then you are going to be in a caloric deficit even more because you are doing these super exciting exercises and training and stuff. But what if I told you that if you are not a person who's into sports like me, that there's something else, something super boring that you can actually implement into your daily routine that will have the same effect like going for sprints, just it's a lot easier. What I'm doing is just simply walking, because that is so chill, and in terms of calories burned, it is way more effective to walk this 10,000 steps every single day as if I would try to now go for a run every single day. For me, running is out of the question. I don't really like it. If you're a fan of running, go ahead and do that instead of walking. But walking is way more sustainable. It is very effective, and then you can just do it every single day. Maybe you increase your step counts a tiny bit and you just walk a little bit more. Or maybe the other day you are feeling like you don't want to walk that much and you just walk like 3,000 steps less. So basically you're not bound to any rules here. You can just increase the amount of steps depending on the actual caloric deficit that you want to reach. And at the end of the day, you check your phone or whatever device you are using to track your steps. And if the step count is less than 10,000, get those steps in that are missing and just make it a daily goal of yourself to just reach those 10,000 steps. And that way you have it now implemented into your daily routine. You're burning extra 300 calories. So now if you wanted to, you can increase the amount of food that you are eating again. Because remember the first boring rule we were talking about of weight loss, you only need to be in a caloric deficit long enough to basically lose weight. It is as easy as just cutting down a number and you're going to lose weight. There's no magic trick. There's no exciting, crazy things happening. It is just a matter of burning more energy that you are actually eating. So it's pretty simple. I'm assuming now you don't only want to lose weight and fat, you want to probably look more aesthetic. I really fast recognized that just getting more slim was not my actual goal. And what you can do if your goal is to not just lose weight, but to also look a lot better and to be proud of yourself when you look into the mirror, you can include some really easy exercises at home. You don't need to go crazy on the gym. You don't need to be a gym pro. The only thing that you need to do is to effectively train at home with the most basic exercises that you can think of. For example, you could do push-ups, pull-ups, or you can just simply do squats. And when you are following these super basic exercises and you are making it a routine throughout the week, you're maybe consistently training for 15 minutes 3 times a week. That's more than enough to get started. Then you already will feel super motivated because you actually see progress and your body is going to turn into a really aesthetic looking body slowly over time. You do not only lose weight and look like a stick, but also you're actually going to gain some muscles. And because we are gaining some muscles, we look definitely better. And in the long run, it's going to be really healthy for us. And I think what a lot of people don't really realize is in the moment you are going to lose a lot of body fat, you're just basically unwrapping whatever aesthetic and body build you already have below your fat. And most people look a lot better and healthier when they are a little bit on the more fatty side of having a lot more body fat. So if your goal is to not just lose weight, but to also look a lot better and more aesthetic, then you definitely should consider starting a little bit of weight training. And by following all of these basic and super boring steps to weight loss, I personally was able to lose around 30 pounds in 9 months. And it got me so hooked at the beginning to lose some weight, and I was feeling a lot healthier already, that I decided for myself, you know, I don't just want to look skinny in the moment I'm actually losing weight, because that's what happens when you're not having muscle mass anymore. To go a little bit back in my story, I was eating a plant-based diet. I didn't really exercise and I was just, let's say I was really chubby and skinny fat. And then in the moment I lost weight, I was basically just uncovering whatever non-existing muscle mass I had down below my fat. And I looked super skinny and I was not happy with that in the moment I was actually losing the weight. So I decided to go and train, exercise, do like push-ups, all of these basic things we covered in today's video. And now I'm up to 10 pull-ups again, and I can do a lot of push-ups also on rings, and I can basically hold a handstand, but only with a wall behind me because the balance is still a problem. But my point is, by doing the basics, I was building a lot of strength. So if you want to follow my example, just stop looking for all of this this exciting, crazy stuff, do the boring things, and then hopefully throughout the next 1 or 2 months, you're gonna see results. In the moment you're doing all of the right things, you're in a caloric deficit, you're doing some exercises and slowly build a little bit of muscle mass. When you are showing patience, but you are showing up every single day doing the basics, then on a long enough time frame, you are going to achieve a body that you are proud of. And not only that, not only the looks, but the more important, you are going to have a healthier lifestyle. You may not have joint pains anymore. That was me a while back. It was really bad. And I was shaking non-stop because I was being so weak. But all of that is in the past now. Just because I was consistent long enough, stop chasing the next exciting, crazy diet, just do the basics. And then hopefully also this is going to slowly give you the freedom of your life back. I'm not quite sure yet how to make an outro, but thank you so much for watching if you made it this far into the video. I'm really curious what you think about those boring steps. Do you already implement them? What do you think about all of this fad diet nonsense and the crazy diets that they're trying to sell to you? And if you want more honest fitness content just like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next one.